That cast. Technically episode 9 because I never finished episode 8 and released it, but we'll just call it the first episode of 2018. Recorded on January 19th, 2018.
So, I have a question for you, that guy.
Yeah, I might have an answer.
How do we podcast again?
I don't know. Usually you started off by saying, so that cast. And then I just follow you.
Oh, that's true. But I usually start off with news that I found.
It's been like 3 months or 4 months since we last recorded.
Yeah.
It's 2018, that guy.
On top of that, too, the last podcast we did, you decided to archive it. So I don't even know what we talked about last one. Who knows? And I'm sorry, but unfortunately, that means the Jeff story of Project H has been archived, so you won't hear that until I get off my butt and put it on my YouTube channel.
It's a good story.
Recently, a Yu-Gi-Oh card. Have you ever played Yu-Gi-Oh, that guy?
I have not. I know nothing about Yu-Gi-Oh.
I never played Yu-Gi-Oh either, but it was around me all the time, so...
okay.
There's a card on sale right now for the price of a Lamborghini.
Oh.
$400,000.
Oh. Why?
Apparently, it is the only official card in existence, and it's also signed by its creator.
The only official card?
Yeah, like they only had. It's called like
or like the only official card that has that whatever on it.
Yeah, that one.
Okay.
It's called like Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon or something.
Okay.
And I guess it's like the only Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon card in all of, like physically, in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! And because it was like a reward for some tournament years ago. And the guy got it valued at $400,000.
Hey, future SOENJAY here. I just want to apologize for the audio quality of this one. We hadn't podcasted in quite a long time, and I think the settings, for some reason, were picking up my webcam's microphone instead of my actual microphone, so we'll fix that for next time.
Player Unknown himself shared somebody getting murdered in his game. Basically, this guy throws a grenade, and the opponent gets launched in the air by the grenade and goes flying at the guy who threw it, and he's got his shotgun out, and he just shoots the guy in the face and kills him instantly.
So, wait, how do you get launched by the grenade that far?
I don't know.
That's like a physics engine mishap.
Yeah, I know.
That's ridiculous. He just grenade jumps and then suddenly shotgun.
But Player Unknown shared that, and he just says, I wouldn't even be mad.
Oh, no, you can't be mad at that. That's just like, what the heck even?
So those are my two short news stories. Unless you want to talk about how people are eating Tide Pods now.
I don't know why that's a new thing. I don't know why people keep saying that that's a 2018 meme, because it's not. Tide Pods have been a meme for a long time. They just got rehashed. You want to talk about a 2018 meme, which I hate, by the way. The first, we're going to look back and we're going to say the first official meme of 2018 is the stupid Ugandan Knuckles in VR.
Do you know the way?
Oh my god, it's so dumb. I mean, come on, people. This is 2018. We can do better than this. We have danker memes. No, I guess we don't have danker memes. I guess humanity's just doomed.
There's a College Humor video that me and my sister watched months ago before the Tide Pods thing got rehashed.
I believe I've seen it.
And it's called Don't Eat the Laundry Pods.
Yep. And what year did that come out in, hey?
2017, March 31st.
Okay, yeah. So almost a year ago. All you people out there saying Tide Pods was the first meme of 2018, you're wrong. And technically, the cartoon of the Knuckles was drawn previously, but he wasn't referred to as Ugandan Knuckles until 2018.
Yeah, thanks to good old VR chat there. So that cast.
I thought we already got by that, but yeah, that cast.
No, we're going back. We're doing it twice because it's been so long. I need to set my mind.
We've got to go back to the future.
It's been quite a while. We did Bruce Miss since our last official that cast.
Certainly did.
That's about all that's happened in our lives.
Yeah, honestly, after the last Batcast, it was, November, and then it was December, so there was like Thanksgiving in there, and then there was Christmas, and then the main holiday, Brucemas, on the 27th,
Yep.
and then the New Year. And I mean, we hung out for New Year's, all of our friends and us. Hung out for New Year's, and we ended up just sitting around and talking. And that's how you know we're
About
old.
toasters.
We're old now, and so it's because instead of playing games with your friends on New Year's, we prefer to sit around and talk.
To be fair, we had a friend who we don't like ever see, and you probably never met before that guy, Tim,
Yeah,
and his boyfriend.
he was
And
very entertaining. He told some
he
great
was.
stories.
They have a house that they own or something like that, and he was telling stories about all the stuff they've had wrong with it, and honestly, it was kind of like a personal stand-up thing.
I'll tell ya, the story about the septic tank was the best. I don't
Yeah.
remember all of it. I'm not going to try to retell it. It was just amazing, though. It was a stand-up routine. It really was. He was just sitting at the front of the table, holding a beer, and he was telling the story. That is exactly what you'll find in a comedy club. A guy standing up there, holding a beer, telling a story.
Exactly. I tried to convince him to leave his day job and go be a professional comedian, but he wouldn't be having it. So, besides that, where do we want to start that guy? Games like we usually do, or
Yeah, dude, why not?
over the last couple months, I decided to replay all of the Batman Arkham games, the ones by Rocksteady. There is one made by Warner Brothers that is canon to the story, but I just don't like it as much. It's like a prequel game.
Mhm.
In Arkham City, the second game, Batman gets this thing called a grapnel launcher, which allows you to like propel yourself off of a building and glide around Arkham City, and it's super fun. Arkham Origins takes place 10 years before all that, and in Arkham City is technically when Batman first gets the grapnel launcher, but he just starts off with it in Arkham Origins because obviously you can't just take away that mechanic.
Yeah.
But it still is like an inconsistent thing. It's like, this is fun, but
But technically, it's not canon.
yeah,
Nerd pushes up glasses.
exactly. But yeah, so I played through all three games and all the DLC chronologically, actually, because Arkham Knight has a DLC that takes place before all the other games. So I played that, then I played Asylum City, and then all of Arkham Knight, and it was really fun. Replaying Arkham Asylum for I don't know how many times I've played it now. I've noticed some things about it. I'm like, I really can see why I don't play this game all the time. There's just some mechanics and some parts of the game where it's like, this is really annoying. I don't want to do this, but I have to progress. What have you been playing, that guy?
The last few weeks, I actually picked up CSGO again, just extremely casually. And I say that because CSGO is a really rage-inducing game, and for some reason, I have like 700 hours in it, and I ended up quitting it because I'm terrible at the game. My rank is really low, and you can't get anybody to work together. Teamwork doesn't exist at low ranks, so there's no chance of getting better for me, essentially. But that's okay because they implemented a 2v2 format called Wingman. So I've been playing Wingman with my buddy Jason, goes by username Enemy Carcass, and that's a whole lot more fun because instead of having to deal with 4 dipsticks on your team, you only have to deal with 1 dipstick on your team, and usually that's me. So it's actually quite fun 2v2 because you don't have to rely quite as much on the rest of the people on your team. Even if your teammate dies, it's a 1v2 situation, which is winnable a lot of the times. So it's a lot of fun. Other than CSGO, I've been playing a lot of TF2 again. I fell back in love with it because of the Jungle Inferno update, also known as the Pyro update. And in that, they implemented weapon balances, a few new pyro weapons, and 1 heavy weapon, which is a banana, a handful of new maps, and they brought back contracts so you could get rewards for doing stuff. And the main draw of this update would be the war paints, which are essentially TF2's versions of weapon skins.
Excuse me, I think the main draw. I'm sorry, I think the main draw of this update has been the Saxton hat.
Okay, yeah, all right. I'll give you that. There is an official Saxton Hale hat, and there's also a cosmetic called the Pocket Saxton, which is pretty awesome. You can just have Saxton Hale in your pocket. one of the new main market things is the skins, the weapon skins. What are they called? The war paints, and they're pretty cool. They're not super optimized. You do have to get strange war paints to put on your strange weapons, and it just seems to be more hassle than it's worth right now. After 6 months or a year, maybe prices will go down, and then you can actually get weapons for not like $20 for a virtual weapon. I mean, I just recently on my rocket launcher hit 7,500 kills. That is my highest ranked strange. It's higher than my wrench for my engineer with sentry kills. That's like 7,400. So I wanted to get a new skin for my rocket launcher. I found this really cool skin called Star-Crossed. It's like a purple night sky with stars and a moon on it. And it looks real cool, and I like it. But I can't get it unless I spend like $30. And I'm just like, I like it, but then I'll have to spend that. I'll have to spend money on a StatTrack transfer tool to transfer those 7,500 kills on my rocket launcher over to the other one. I'll have to get a new kill streaker because I've got a specialized purple kill streaker on my rocket launcher. It would be way too much hassle. That's just cosmetic stuff. As in terms of gameplay and stuff, it's been actually really fun again. It drew in a lot more people with the weapon balances. I'm still not super happy about what they did with Pyro, but it's better than it was, I guess. And you've been playing, well, you were at least a few weeks ago. You've been playing a whole lot, trying to get all these contracts done and getting your Bat Saxton Heavy Yeti thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I picked up TF2 for some reason or another and started playing it and got addicted, and I got into the contracts. I did all the Pyro contracts so I could get my jetpack, which at first I thought wasn't too good, but now I'm used to it, and it's pretty fun just to fly around as a Pyro. And, if I'm 1v1ing that guy and he as a scout and he jumps over this large gap and he's like, you can't get me. And then I pull out a jetpack and he goes, oh.
Then, yeah, Pyro's got a jetpack now. It's scary.
And they have a weapon called the Hot Hand. Some people refer to it as the slapper.
I refer to it as the glove.
It's a glove that lets you slap people, and it does very little damage, unfortunately.
But it makes a hilarious sound effect of...
It does, and it speeds you up, so that you have that going for it. So I worked really hard to get that, and that was a little bit of a disappointment, but I have the jetpack, so I'm pretty happy with that.
I still don't have the glove. You have to get all the stars in the Pyro contract to even unlock that one, and it's so difficult.
It's a pain in the butt, but I did it. Lots of grinding and being a terrible teammate, really. That's what it comes down to is, it's either you play the game or you're working on your contracts. That's what it came to me.
There's a lot of hoovies running around trying to force feed people sandwiches
and bananas and all that.
And all sorts of other stuff. Yeah, it was pretty rough there for the first few weeks, but it's calmed down now, and people have actually started playing the game again. And one other last note about TF2 that I have, anyways, is that I've been playing Man vs. Machine again. I've been throwing away my money, and after 58 tours of Tours of Duty in Man vs. Machine, that's the 6 people versus waves of robots, I finally got an Australian weapon. I did, yeah. I'm not sounding too excited about it, though, for a reason.
What weapon is it?
It wasn't even a bad weapon. It wasn't the low-tier weapons like the Extinguisher or the Frontier Justice. Those are pretty low-tier ones. I already have a Frontier Justice. That was a gift, and I love it because I'm an engineer main. So I wouldn't have been sad with a Frontier Justice, but that's a pretty low-tier one, and not a lot of people like that, and it sells for pretty cheap. I got the Australian Black Box, which is a rocket launcher for Soldier, one less rocket, and it heals you for damage done.
You hate the Black Box.
I hate the Black Box.
I know you do.
I know. I absolutely hate that Black Box.
It's the Australian box now.
It is. It's the Australian box. I have one. It's worth about $40. If I ever feel like selling it to somebody who would want it, it's a pretty mid-ticket item. People will want that. But it ticked me off after 58 tours that Gabe Newell's just like, hey man, I know you've been playing this game for 58 tours. Let me put that in perspective. Each tour is 4 maps, which means you need 4 tours tickets, and each ticket is 99 cents. So each tour is $4, and after
spent
58
$60.
tours,
Well, I mean, you could get some of that money back.
I could, and I've gotten my fair share of professional kill streak things too. Although between I think it was tours 52 and 53,
I started questioning my own sanity.
No, it was worse than that, man.
I started speaking all the classes at once.
I got 2 professional kill streaks back to back, and you know what they were? Professional kill streak wingers. You even know what the winger is?
No.
It's a scout pistol that nobody uses and nobody's ever heard of. It's like the lowest tier scout secondary weapon that nobody uses. And I got 2 of professional kill streak winger kits back to back. They're worth 5 cents.
Yay.
But they're super high tier because they're professional kill streak kits.
Just hold on to those because they're going to be those AOL discs.
Maybe. I still
Everyone's
have
got
one of them.
so many of them, and all of a sudden they just disappear. It's like, where did it go? I want one.
I did gift wrap and gift-a-pult somebody one of them for Smithmas this year. You can wrap up an item in your inventory and deliver it to a random Steam user. So
Yep.
I did just randomly give one away, but I think I still have one. Lastly, on the subject of the black box, I was looking at all of the skins. You can look at all the war paint skins, and I found out that there is the best skin for the black box. There is a cardboard war paint. So you can literally just have a cardboard box.
That's actually great.
So what needs to happen is somebody needs to get a Strange Professional Kill Streak cardboard box and rename it The Box, and then the description tag is, it's just a box. That would be amazing.
The other game I've been playing a lot of, I feel like I might be growing a beard. I might need to drink a beer. I've been playing a lot of Skyrim.
Turning into Jeff.
Yeah, I modded Skyrim again, and I've been calling it Dragon Punch Man because I'm the One Punch Man, and it's been super fun. I have a special melee mod. I think it's called the Master Tree or something like that, because it's monk master kind of thing.
Does it give you a skill tree?
Yes, kind of. It replaces the speech skill tree with this skill tree that's all unarmed and unarmored combat, and you get very powerful as you go up it. I can't one punch things too. I mean, I guess I kind of can, low level things like wolves, skeevers,
Yeah,
regular draugrs, regular bandits. Those things are all one punchable, which is fun, but I am still a force to be reckoned with. I do just punch dragons to death, which is enjoyable. I have another mod called True Dragonborn. At certain tiers, the more dragon souls I have, the stronger my character is. So once I get to 100 dragon souls, my melee damage will gain an additional 50 points of damage.
Now, do you have to have those just in your inventory, or can you collect the dragon soul and then spend it on a shout and it still counts?
You can't spend it. That's
okay, so you have to have them just saved up.
Yeah. I don't know if you've ever done this, that guy, but this has always happened to me in Skyrim when I want to be a dragon hunter. Ever since Skyrim first came out, because there's been characters where I just want to hunt dragons for fun. But the thing is, you go to hunt dragons when you want to, and there just aren't any dragons.
Yeah.
You look everywhere. The only place you can find dragons are the places where they're programmed to be, the word walls and all that.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's annoying. And then when you play the game where you don't want to be fighting dragons, they just show up everywhere and kill people.
Everywhere. Especially, I find a lot of them in the Reach. In the hills, the pointy, craggy hills of the Reach. It's really annoying.
So I added a mod called Most Dragons. The guy has a series of mods all titled More Dragons and Even More Dragons, things like that. And it just increases the spawn rate.
This one is the most dragons.
Yeah, that's what it's called. It's supposed to increase the spawn rate, and it does increase the spawn rate, but the last 3 sessions I played they each average at about an hour and a half. I have not seen any random dragons.
Huh.
I added another mod that adds specific stronger dragons because I was getting kind of bored of just easily beating these dragons. I added another mod that adds 100 dragons specifically to areas in the game. And it was really cool because right near Windhelm, the mill that's right down the road from Windhelm?
Yeah.
right above there were 6 dragons, and they were just casually like flying above it. It looked really cool. And I went over. I wasn't like God mode, and I'm still killable and everything. I just had some potions, and I was buffed up pretty well. I went in and murdered all of them
That's pretty awesome.
with my fists. It's been really fun. I've been going through the Dragonborn DLC. I want to get the dragon aspect shout so I can be even stronger. After that, I'm going to be doing a mod called Here There Be Monsters, where the person added in all these giant monster bosses you can fight. The guy's done like 3 mods in the series, so those will be fun to go through, hopefully. Well, I just wanted to share a couple things, a couple more, like kind of seeing all those dragons above the mill was pretty cool. But I wanted to share a couple of things I experienced in my times, which I want to ask if you've seen or not.
Okay.
And thought of. So first off, I went to a word wall to fight a dragon, and I used Dragon Rend, and the dragon flies up, tries to fly away, but then comes crashing down and leaves like this massive divot in the ground. Have you ever seen that?
Lots of times, yeah.
I've never seen that.
Really?
Yeah, that was the first time I saw it. I thought it was so cool. I never knew they did that.
Yeah, the first time that happened to me, I took a screenshot of it. It was a few years ago when I was playing, and I still have that screenshot up on my Steam account. It's titled like Dragon Crash Landing or something. That was the first time I'd ever seen it then, and I still remember the first time that happened, and I was just like, that's so weird. I've never seen that before. But yeah, more recently, because I was playing Skyrim a whole lot in November and December, it happened quite often, to be honest.
It's just weird. It was the first time I saw it, and I thought it was cool. Especially after having literal days to weeks on end in this game and never seeing something and seeing something new.
Yeah, yeah.
This I just found entertaining. So in order to fully feel like I was the One Punch Man, I wanted to have the extra pockets perk from pickpocketing, so that way I could carry as much stuff as possible. So, I had the Steed Stone and everything. This I just thought was enjoyable when I was going through my pickpocketing adventures, is how you can eat and drink things out of people's inventories.
You can?
Yeah, you can. You have the option to just eat it straight out.
You don't have to steal it, you just have to eat it.
Yeah, so
That's awesome.
It's just the funniest thing to think about. Like, so you sneak up on somebody and you're just like, ooh, a leg of goat. Ooh, a sweet roll. Ooh, some meat. Like drinking that while you're taking stuff from their pockets.
That's awesome. I didn't know you could do that.
I was doing it. It's quite enjoyable. Just obviously it's not like there's an animation for it, but it's just the concept.
Just imagine.
I'm eating food directly from your pocket. You cannot stop me.
Could you still get caught by that? Like, do you still have okay.
I can get caught, but I did a lot of scum saving with that. So,
but I mean, come on, if you get caught, you've already eaten it.
Yeah, that is true. You're not giving that back.
Oh, what? You want it back? You can come get it. Talk to me in about 48 hours. For movies, I'll just get this out of the way. Star Wars The Last Jedi came out.
I was kind of avoiding that because I didn't want to rehash the conversation we had on that.
I'm not going to have too much of a conversation on it. We did already discuss this before, but we weren't podcasting it. I'm just going to say that it was a good film. I'm not going to get into any of the specifics because that would all be spoilery. But it was good. It was long. It was like 2.5 hours long. It didn't need to be that long.
Did not.
Not at all.
Just like the last movie, not Rogue One, the first Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
There was just so many points that I was thinking this movie's going to end now. And it didn't. And it just kept going. Who's ever directing these movies? J.J. Abrams, I think, right?
I have no idea.
He directed the last one, I know, but I don't know about this one.
I didn't notice as many lens flares.
They need to figure that out because obviously they're doing something wrong. If I'm thinking this movie should be over by now.
Yeah, the only other type of movie that I've had that happen to me in is like the Hobbit movies or the Lord of the Rings movies. But yeah, Star Wars, good movie. No real super complaints about it, except for the fact that I didn't see Snap Wexley in it at all. He wasn't in it. So, 0 out of 10. As for TV shows, Season 4 of a Canadian TV show called Letterkenny just came out. I really, really enjoy that TV show. The seasons are 6 episodes long, and episodes are like 28 minutes or so. It's just about a farming town in Ontario, but it's very well done. It's hard to explain. It's got a lot of crude humor in it, but it's a very, very well put together TV show. So I'm glad that season 4 came out. And then lastly, in TV, I have been, in the last week or two, binge watching Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated, which is a Scooby-Doo series from Cartoon Network, started in 2010, and it just flew under my radar. It was 2 seasons. It went from 2010 to 2013. I think there's like 50 some episodes, probably 52, because usually TV shows like that have like 26 episodes a season.
Yeah.
And I am almost at the end now. I've watched all but 4 episodes. It's all coming up to the climax at the end. It's very good. It's a very good TV show. I didn't think I'd enjoy it as much as I had, but the actions speak. I have been watching it for the last 2 weeks, kind of nonstop. So it's great, and I've got officially, at least in that series, new favorite character is Fred. I really like the way they portrayed Fred in this version of Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, I remember watching that when it came out. I watched like the first season, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then it did one of those things Cartoon Network is famous for with almost all of its TV shows, where the next season takes so long to come out.
Yeah, man. Like I said, it's only 2 seasons, but it took 3 years, 2010 to 2013. I understand.
Like, I just forgot about the show when it came out.
Yeah.
And actually, if I remember correctly, I was talking to, at one of the pizza places I worked, one of the employees there, her kids were in the restaurant a lot, and I was talking to them about the show. I knew that there was like an overarching story to the whole thing because he watched it recently, and I can't remember how old the kid was, but he was in elementary school at the time, and he told me basically what happened. So
he was the target demographic, you're saying?
Yeah,
he wasn't me.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I never felt necessary to go back and watch it after it came out because the kid told me what happened. So I thought, oh, that's cool. Okay.
Like I said, I got 4 episodes left. It's very interesting so far, and it's all getting up to a climax. I'll probably finish it tomorrow sometime. Regardless, I've really been enjoying it. It's a good TV show.
Speaking of Scooby-Doo, I got Scooby Apocalypse Volume 2, and I still have not read that. It just kind of sits on my nightstand staring at me every night.
Mm-hmm.
But I play video games too much to, like, remember to read.
I have that same problem, but with your issue of Scooby Apocalypse Volume 1, which is sitting on my desk right next to me, that I have read the first, I guess you'd call chapter of, before it said, like, to be continued or whatever. And But I never continued after that, even though it was really good.
If you ever liked Scooby-Doo growing up as a kid, I highly recommend checking out Scooby Apocalypse. It takes your favorite characters and puts them into a much more adult situation while still kind of keeps the Scooby-Doo vibe about it. At least in my opinion, it does. And I love it. Like I said, I have the second volume out of the 2 that are out right now. They have more comics, but why buy the comics individually when you can just wait for the volumes to come out and be cheaper?
Exactly.
I might as well just throw this in there while we're talking about books. I did recently listen to
books. Sorry.
I really don't read that much. I read comic books, kind of. Actual books I listen to if I'm interested enough in it. One series of books I've been very interested in is by this guy who goes by the name David Wong. He's written a series of books. The first one called John Dies at the End. The second one is called This Book is Full of Spiders. Seriously, dude, don't read it. And his most recent book, What the Hell Did I Just Read? A Tale of Cosmic Something.
Those are some pretty amazing titles.
I love these books, even though I haven't read them, and I probably will never actually read them. I will continue to have the amazing voices read them to me. I semi-recently, probably a week or 2 ago, I finished the 3rd one, and it was good. I can't tell you which one's my favorite because they're all so good and they all have their own thing. Definitely had some good twists and turns and all that. His other book that David Wong has written, Futuristic Violence in Fancy Suits, it's very different because the John Dies at the End series are all, honestly, there's a lot of really messed up stuff that happens in it. I should be using a lot more profanity like they do in the books, but I'm not going to because that guy's just going to censor it.
Thanks.
So they do a lot of mess up things. There's a lot of dick jokes and things like that. Futuristic Violence and Fancy Suits has none of that. It's just there's adult situations, but it's not like extremely graphic or anything like it happens in these books. But they're both really good, and if you have the time or the interest, I would recommend listening to them.
Nice.
I recently saw Thor Ragnarok for the second time, and it was pretty much just as good as the first time. It is definitely one of the better Marvel movies out there. I know you've seen it, that guy, right?
I have, yeah. I don't know what to say about it because I've already said a few times. It was a good movie. It was a comedy. It
Yeah.
wasn't a superhero film, but it didn't need to be a superhero film. And I feel like the Marvel universe needed a film that was just a comedy. It's
Yeah.
very, very well done.
One of the normal things you see in trailers nowadays is they'll play some cool song that goes in the background of it, usually some popular song everyone knows. And, you know, it fits very well, but then it doesn't actually show up in the movie, or like if it does, it's in the end credits.
Right.
However, for Thor Ragnarok, the trailer had the song The Immigrant. I can't even remember who it's by. Okay?
I don't know, unfortunately.
Dang. It's a pretty popular song. It's one that goes, that one.
Led Zeppelin.
They play that song in the trailer, and they used it twice in the movie. They used it for 2 times in the movie in 2 fight scenes, and it worked out really nicely, and I was pretty happy by that, to be honest.
That's pretty good.
My only complaint about it is it just makes me wish there was a full-on Hulk movie with Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah.
I mean, Hulk's in this a lot, but I'm just, I still tell people I wish there was more Hulk in it. Finally, in movies and television, my favorite content creator of all time, Olin Rogers, he released a pilot on his channel for a show called Final Space. If you've been following Olin long enough like I have, it's based on his original cartoon, Gary Space, which is about this guy, Gary Space, who gets stranded on a planet, and it's just pretty bad animation, but it's still entertaining. He got some kind of financing and had a group professionally animate a pilot, and us as his fans blew it out of proportion, and I think he said he did 9 different pitches to different 9 different company pitches, and 6 of them said they wanted it.
Wow.
It was I'm confused. It's either that or I'm combining it with a different story, and he did it to 6 companies, and all 6 said they wanted it. It was he had a lot of offers.
A lot
basically.
of people wanted it, is what you're saying,
Yeah.
and that is very impressive.
Yeah, like the thing is, Olin's got just shy of like 1 million subscribers, but he's just not that big of a YouTuber because he doesn't like advertise anything. He refuses to advertise because he's like, I don't want to make people sit through ads. I don't like ads. Why would I make my fans sit through ads? He had all these offers, and he went with TBS because he's always trying to keep his fans in mind, from at least what he's telling us. And I feel like from the face I've seen on camera, it's kind of hard for that man to lie to us. But who knows? But people have met him and said he's genuinely an amazing person. Anyways, he wanted TBS because it's the most widely available program,
Network.
it comes with basic cable.
Mm-hmm.
Or
it's very,
even
very widely available.
Yeah,
I get it.
And you can watch it online and apps and all that stuff. So that's kind of why I went with them. So we've kind of been in the dark on that since that pilot came out. And then last week they released the official trailer saying that Final Space will be coming out in February. I'm just super pumped about it, and everyone needs to watch it when it comes out.
I just had one question about that. He is the writer and creator of that. Does he also voice titular character Gary Space?
Yes, he does.
Okay.
He voices Gary. He voices Mooncake. If you watch the trailer, that alien the girl is talking to with the 9 eyes, he voices that character.
Mm-hmm.
Because whoever he did the pitch to, or whoever is behind this, is clearly smart enough to know that the target audience that's going to be watching Final Space is Olin's fans, and Olin's fans want him to voice all these characters.
Yeah.
They were very smart behind that choice. From what I can tell, they really let Olin do what he wanted with this because they knew that's going to make them money. Because I honestly will buy anything that comes out for Final Space. If there are baby clothes, I will buy baby clothes. I don't have a baby. I do have a cat.
Jake is just, I was going to say, Jake's probably just on your bed, just gave you a dirty look, like, do not put me in baby
He's
clothes.
not looking at me yet. He will be looking at me if that happens, though. I'm more excited for this than I was for Ash vs. Evil Dead, I think.
Yeah.
Which is something we should probably mention.
That's another thing. Ash vs. Evil Dead Season 3 is coming out soonish.
How much have you been following? Because there is a slight problem.
I know there's a slight problem. I know that...
right now, Optimum, some kind of overarching cable company, decided to drop Stars.
Yeah, and that's
because Stars didn't want to take the money offer that they gave them.
And that's obviously the network that Ash vs. Evil Dead is run on and produced by.
However, Bruce Campbell in a tweet said that if they don't sort it out, he will hand deliver by bike Ash vs. Evil Dead Season 3 to us. So by whatever the date was, I can't remember.
I do believe him.
What else are we talking about? Murder? Mayhem?
I've got a few things just quick to run by about songs, just for continuity's sake.
I have my list here. I had to pull it up. I have a song to talk about, and it's not even a song, so...
All right, well, I'll start with mine, which actually are songs, and then we'll get into whatever random stuff you've got to talk about that you have deemed worthy of the songs category.
I mean, you'll deem it worthy of the songs category after, but we'll get to there.
If it needs to be explained why it's in the songs category, maybe it doesn't deserve to be in the songs category. All right, whatever.
Well, you see, Weird Al is best friends with the guy who did this thing. No.
Yeah, there you go. Well, that's okay. As for the songs category, since it's been so long, I've got 3 standout songs that have stood out to me in the last few months that have been my go-to jam. The first being Supertramp's Goodbye Stranger.
Goodbye, stranger. It's been nice. Hope you find your paradise. Glad to see you. All of you. Hope your dreams will all come true.
I asked for Supertramp CD, the best of Supertramp CD for Christmas. That was one of the few things that I actually put on a Christmas list because I'm getting to the age where my mom's like, I don't know what to get you anymore. Give me a list. So I was like, well, best of Supertramp CD would be pretty cool. A salt and pepper grinder would be pretty cool, and I got that right here. It's Himalayan salt and rainbow pepper. And a blow dryer for my hair would be pretty cool because I got longer hair now. The CD was part of that, and I've been listening to that a lot, and I really enjoy that song. Secondly, Billy Joel's Uptown Girl.
Uptown girl, she's been living in her uptown world. I bet she never had a backstreet guy. I bet her mama never told her why.
I really mostly just enjoy the music video for that song because it's pretty ridiculous, as a lot of 80s music videos were. I've wanted for a long time to find a GIF of Billy Joel and his backup singer guys in that music video, dressed up as the mechanics, holding their socket wrenches like microphones and swaying back and forth when they go, "Ay, ay, ay." And I couldn't find the GIF for so long, but I ended up just getting fed up with it, and I made my own GIF. So I have that GIF now, and I can post it anywhere. I don't know, I always find it super funny because of the faces that they're making. Some of them are being super serious, and some of them are just have stupid, crazy faces. And finally, the last song is actually a song from Phineas and Ferb. It's Love Handle's #1 single, You Snuck Your Way Right Into My Heart.
But like a ninja of love, repelling down from above, you snuck your way right into my heart. Oh yeah.
Ah, a good song.
It is a pretty good song. It's unfortunately a short song. It reminds me a whole heck of a lot of songs from the band REO Speedwagon. They're a heavy metal band, Love Handle are, but that specific song is a power ballad. So it reminds me a whole lot of the REO Speedwagon's 80s power ballads, or like Bon Jovi as well. It's a real good song. And unfortunately, it only has 2 verses, which bleed into the chorus, which is only 2 lines. So it's not very long, but it's very well done.
Cool.
So what did you have for music news?
Over the last month or so, I've been jamming out to music. It's not really a
As you
song
do.
because it's not a song. It's because there's no lyrics. It's just music. So that's why I was saying it's not really a song. It's just music.
That still counts.
It's called Makia by Anna Managuchi. Anna Managuchi did the soundtrack to the Scott Pilgrim video game, and this was a song that I listened to quite a bit back when I was like super into Scott Pilgrim. So yeah, I've been listening to that, and I really enjoy it. I have a 30-minute loop I have downloaded that I just kind of put on the background when there's nothing else going on.
Cool.
You know, I re-listened to the soundtrack. There's some good ones in there, but that is definitely my most favorite out of them.
Well, before we
Oh.
devolve into Bruce, I do have one quick thing that's just a random thing. Back in November, my sister got me into drinking chamomile tea. I like drinking tea in the winter times. I'm not a coffee drinker, but if your throat's sore in the morning, I enjoy a nice cup of Earl Grey. At nighttime, you might not want to drink Earl Grey because it's got caffeine in it. However, my sister was like, hey, there's this tea called chamomile tea. It is caffeine free, and let me tell you all of the amazing things that chamomile tea claims to do. Okay, buckle
I'm excited by this now.
buckle up, bud. Chamomile tea claims that A, it is good for your skin, it is good for your hair, it will help you sleep and give you good dreams. It boosts your immune system, it can relieve stress, and it manages diabetes. I'm not sure what that means, but it says it manages diabetes.
It actually takes your blood sugar count for you and tells you.
Yeah, like, what does it do? Does the tea bag just come up and prick you and it's like, nah, dude, you're good?
You know what? You're actually pretty low. You should add some honey to this.
I don't get it. I don't get it, but all I know is that it tastes pretty good, and it doesn't have caffeine in it, so you can have a nice soothing cup of tea at nighttime before you go to bed, and it'll give you good dreams. It's good for your skin and your hair and stuff, and I don't know.
I like black tea or English breakfast.
Yeah, black tea is the superior tea. Green tea is garbage. Chamomile is kind of a very light brown tea, so it still tastes good, and it's still within the acceptable spectrum for me. 'Cause
Yeah,
I
part
really,
of, you know, now that you're mentioning it, it makes me think back to Make Love the Bruce Campbell Way. The scene where he goes to his co-actor's apartment and he gives him white tea and he's like, yeah, it's rancid. It makes me like, I kind of want to try it just because Bruce Campbell did in his book. It's so bad that things like that have an influence on me. Like, he didn't even like it. It's like if Bruce Campbell's like, I tried smoking once and it was the worst thing I ever did. Bruce Campbell tried smoking. Maybe I should try it.
Man, if Bruce did it, you gotta do it too, alright? It has been said in the past that we might like Bruce Campbell a bit too much.
We might have a problem.
We might have a
You know-
teensy little problem.
You know, I work on a bus. I'm a bus monitor. On our route, we drive by this building that's for sale, and it looks a lot like a church. I'm like, I could do it.
Do what?
I could buy that building and make it a Campbellism church.
Oh.
I just look at it, I'm like, I could do it.
I could do it.
I don't, but I do think that almost every time I go by it, I'm like, I can do it.
Oh,
I
man.
don't know how successful it'll be. I don't know how long it'll take before I get the Bruce Campbell cease and desist order.
I would be there every whatever day of the week is sacred.
Whatever day you feel like coming. Whatever day you want to get out of bed, that's the sacred day of Bruceness. Or Campbellism.
Campbellism's sacred day of the week. Every day that ends in the letter Y.
Okay, do we have time for a story or no?
Yeah, I think we have time for a story.
I can read a story. I can do a prayer because I wrote a nice prayer. It's short. You might sense a little essence of BS in it because I did kind of just write it like in 5 minutes. But I think you'll still like it because you'll probably quickly realize where I got it from. So
Well, that's good.
let's do some Project H. We haven't done this in forever, and I have some Project H's in the archives ready to go.
All right.
Project H. Mission predictable. Ian liked to meditate with his powers. It allowed him to see far into the future. While he occasionally used this to see how missions will go, he used it to read. At some point in his future, he will sit down and turn the pages of books, knowing his past self will take as much time as he'd like to read them. A book that would take days to finish would be done in minutes. Ian opened an eye in anticipation. Joe poked his head in the door. Hey, he started. We got a request from the president of Undisclosed to rescue his daughter from Soteris. All right, Ian said. He stood up and put his crown on. The jet copter was hovering above some jungle, the canopy too dense for landing. Eagle took to the sky, and Captain Incredible Man jumped like usual. The rest of the team had to propel down ropes. Upon landing, Alpha let out one of her cries. Within moments, the team was surrounded by various monkeys and chimps. Alpha spoke to them in her universal animal language. After what appeared to be a brief conversation, the apes left in one direction. The camp is that way, Alpha said, pointing in a direction of the apes' destination. When we're ready, they'll cause a distraction. The team traveled on foot for about 20 minutes. They arrived at the top of a hill. At the bottom was some ruins that these terrorists turned into their camp. Time King, where's the hostage? Captain Incredible Man asked. Time King focused. The ruins were a couple of stone buildings, a lookout tower, and all surrounded by large stone walls. The tower, Time King said. That's original, Ludicrous snarked. Hey, Captain Incredible Man said in an offended tone. I don't have a lot of time to come up with creative ideas. Wasn't making fun of you, dude, Ludicrous said while rolling his eyes. Mind if I take this one, Joe? Time King asked. It's... Captain Incredible Man began. Then he thought about it. Yeah, sure, whatever. No respect around here. He crossed his arms. Thanks, Time King said. He had a book to get back to. He didn't want to wait for a plan. Alpha, get the chimps to distract towards the north. He pointed to where he wanted the team to go. Ludicrous and Eagle, take out the guards along the wall. Invisibro, secure the president's daughter. The rest of us will neutralize the hostiles. Any questions? No? Good. Let's go. The team did have questions, but they weren't going to get answers, apparently. They began their assault on the camp. A loud screech from the apes came from the north gate. Most of the men at the camp turned their attention to it. Eagle swooped down and took out the two spotters at the top of the tower. A sound of splatters was then heard. I'm sure you can figure it out. The terrorists fired their guns in the air to scare the apes, but it was already too late for them. Captain Incredible Man came smashing through the eastern wall. He was going to shout, "Oh yeah," but decided to stick to his own catchphrase. Project H, let's rock. He picked up a large chunk of wall and threw it at the group of terrorists. A group of 5 tried to flank his left, but Alpha leaped the wall and began to shred the terrorists. Snow Queen rode in on a slide of ice and began to rain hail down upon the enemy. Time King casually strolled in and began to make his way to the terrorist weapon bunker. Meanwhile, Ludicrous and Eagle alternated between guards along the wall as Invisibro snuck into the tower. Only 2 guards were left in the tower, and they were easily disposed of. Saving the president's daughter was going to be a piece of cake, Invisibro thought. He walked into the room and saw the girl chained to a chair surrounded by dynamite. Pizza sauce, he swore. Time King made it to the bunker with no interruptions, entered the code on the keypad, and then entered the room. He grabbed a dozen sticks of dynamite and began to disperse them across the camp. After clearing the high parts, Eagle and Ludicrous joined the rest of the team for the main fight. Captain, Ludicrous shouted. Tag team! Captain Incredible Man nodded and raised his arms. Ludicrous would then grab enemies and rush them into the raised arms. By most accounts, this would break a man's neck, but if that's too dark, just pretend it knocked them out. Eagle, Captain Incredible Man shouted. See if Invisibro needs help. Eagle nodded and flew through the upper window. You need help, bro? Oh, biscuits and gravy, Eagle said at the sight of the dynamite. He saw Invisibro standing with the president's daughter. How'd you get her out of there? Eagle asked, shocked. She wasn't wired to it, Invisibro said. They just scotch-taped a wire to the chair and the dynamite. Either they're idiots, or we're hoping the rescuers would be. Ha, Eagle said. Ma'am, I'm going to take you someplace safe. Eagle began to fly. He picked up the girl with his talons and was off. Invisibro went over the radio. Hostages secured. Within seconds, the jet copter was hovering above the camp. Snow Queen shielded the evac point as everyone secured their lines. Once they were all on the jet copter, Time King pressed a button. As the team flew off, the ruins exploded, taking the terrorists with it. Time King opened his eyes as Joe poked his head in the room. Hey, he started. We got a request from the president of Undisclosed to rescue his daughter from some terrorists. All right, Ian said. He stood up and put his crown on. This is going to be a fun mission, he thought. The end.
Just goes around in a loop. Nice.
Yep. So, it was a podcast, that guy. Full-on podcast.
It was
we did
a
everything.
full-on podcast. What do you know?
And hopefully there'll be more in the future when our lives get more interesting.
Yeah, dude. Podcast ThatCast 2018 this is the year of the ThatCast. I feel like
Dear God, we're all doomed.
Like, for the past 3 years, we've attempted the year of the something cast. But it's never really gotten very far. We had 7 casts last year.
Not bad for starting out in August, though. Was it August? It was early. It was early in the summer.
It was not August.
We started out in the summer, though.
I think it was late spring.
It wasn't bad for not doing it all year.
Exactly.
I'll now wrap this up with a prayer. I can't even really give you a reason for this prayer. You'll just know what it's for when you hear it.
Okay.
Dear Bruce, I don't have it, not like you do. So please lend me some of it so I may use it to better serve you. Groovy.
Groovy. Yes. Now I understand. It's from the Old Spice commercial.
That is correct.
It's a little bit of a cop out, but it's okay because that was probably the best Old Spice commercial in the history of ever.
It is the sole reason. As I was talking earlier about how the Bruce Campbell and the smoking thing as a joke, it is the sole reason why I will forever be an Old Spice customer. Is because they chose to have Bruce Campbell do 2 of their commercials. I will forever always consider Old Spice when I'm buying my hygiene products.
Like, sorry, Terry Crews, move over. I like that one, dude. I like that one.
I'm Joe Thunder,
And I am SOENJAY.
also known as That Guy.
And that guy.
And you've been listening to That Cast.
2018.
Bye!
Bye-bye.